listening to Humans of Mitti Ke Rang, and today we have with us Anju Kumari. She is a full time corporate professional, a freelance trainer, and a growth mentor. Founder at Wings, which is an online community catering to women growth. Founder at Crafting Leaders, which is again an organization which is about training and development. Author of Daughter Imperfections. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Dipti. That was so nice to hear that introduction. Thank you so much for your kind words. How are you?
I'm good. So, what are you doing these days?
Uh, See, I'm a full-time corporate professional, Dipti. So apart from that, nowadays what is happening is that, we've over-occupied. Our working hours have overspilled, to, I would say it's a like work-life integration that has happened. No more there's a balance. So we work, we get up, do the work at home, and then we are back to our own work. So that keeps me occupied all the time. And then we have a lot of training and other stuff coming in. A lot of counseling consultation keeps on happening. At times I'm busy over the weekend doing my Wings platform work. So everything gets accumulated, and we are managing, hands are full, like totally busy into a lot of things.
Okay, so since you are saying that you have a very busy schedule, so how do you manage it all? Do you have a planning and goal setting sort of a situation, or you just go on with the work that you have scheduled?
No, it's, I would say, 60 to 70% of the time that it's always planned. It really cannot be that chaotic, because sometimes you can definitely work upon certain issues, but you just cannot leave things unplanned in a very haywire situation. It has to be planned, and then you have to be ready with all kinds of unpredictable things happening around you. But 60 to 70%, I would say, by and large 70%, it's all planned. Like, this is rather like, inside my house also, it's like a project schedule going on. This is the time when it's the family time and the kids get their time, and this is the time when I'm, so even we definitely move around deadlines within our personal life as of now. That's completely fine. It's a demand of the hour, and that's how we have to channelize ourselves. So that's how it is.
So for all the listeners who are listening to this, I wanted to know, like, how do you plan at a certain, like, this is an uncertainty for all of us. So how do you plan ahead? Like, planning is supposed to be done ahead of the event happening. And this is something we're not certain what will happen next or what are the new trends that are going to come in. So how do you plan according to that?
See, I think it's almost 7 months that we are into such a situation.
Mhm.
I would say there are two ways. Either you have missed the bus, then get onto it right now at the right moment. Okay. So people who have actually worked right in the beginning, when all such situations started off, like, they quickly realized into their profession or personal life, where are the things that quickly need a change, and they adapted. So by now they are like, they got used to the high tides and the storms, and they're now very nicely sailing through. But for those who have actually missed the bus, thinking, waiting for certain things to be fine, for them, I would say now the time left is these 3 months or the last quarter of the year. And don't ever let this thing go away. We are, I would say, in a very golden stage of life. Remember, our grandparents would talk about some stories of their life, and we would listen up to them, that, oh, that was a story, something that happened in their life. Now think about it. We are living in a life story, one in lifetime. Did we ever think about it that, we'll be living in such a situation which will be historically talked about years later now? Okay, so from 10 years to 20 years down the line, you will be the person who will be narrating all that you did in the pandemic. Now, what do you want to narrate? Don't you want to talk about your achievements? Don't you want to talk about how you planned, how you did, how you sailed through? I would say take this entire thing, maybe the 3 months that are left, as a case study. Look within your profession, look around your work environment, rather, what best you can do. See, anyways, we try to create, best out of the waste. And now, if the real time situation is, what are we doing then? We have to act like that. Whatever we have is, this is what we have. And let's not wait and watch. Plan it out, do it, keep doing. You automatically will be moving in a way that if this doesn't work, the other thing will work, the next thing will work. But planning doesn't stop. No one is stopping you from taking actions. Actually, if you're not moving in that mode, pretty much this is a very overwhelming situation for so many people that have come across and told me. So, what is missing in their life is no actions, only talking, waiting, watching. So, when you're not an action oriented person, you miss a lot happiness also in your life. That planning is missing, action is missing. So I would say for all the viewers, like, rather don't miss these 3 months. Plan, and for sure, 100% sure, by the time we reach 2021, your path would be clear. If not clear, in these 3 months, you would have, like, evolved on your own. So, think about it. That's my suggestion.
Okay, so as we know that planning is done, it is sort of a roadmap to our goal, that is our like destination. So most of the people aren't clear about the part that is goal supposed to be an end process or it is supposed to be an ongoing process. Like are our goals supposed to be like, for example, I want to be happy. So it's an ongoing goal. Whereas if I talk about I want to be a manager of this company, this is a short term goal. So at a point like this, where we are filled with uncertainty, what type of a goal would you suggest? An ongoing one or a short term one?
See, first of all, we have to realize that in our life we have, okay, what is goal? Actually, I would say that when you know what you want to achieve and you have a plan also to support it, it's a goal. Now, such things I would say are milestones, could be minor milestones, could be long term, could be major milestones in our life. And like you have rightly put it, whether it has to be like, small goals or small plans in our life that we should take up. So, let's understand that, goal is something important in our life. And whether we call it a minor goal or a major goal, let's have something in place, because you cannot leave your life into loose hands. Neither can you leave your life into others' hand. No one should be decision holder of your life. You can consult, you can ask for advice, but do what your heart says. Believe in yourself. Only then you are successful in the goals. Okay, so that is one thing. So we have to understand that if at all goal is there, it will play a dominant, very dominant role in your life. It will help you identify yourself, your image in your community, in your society. A person who's very goal oriented, very focused, is actually looked upon with a lot of respect, and we say that he has a very positive approach, goes in a very planned manner. So all these things happen only and only if you have a goal. So, like, whether it is your I would say personal matter or your professional matter, if you have to have self motivation, if you have to have that self drive, mental happiness, the bottom line, the foundation layer is all about goals. So we can even say them as soft goals or hard goals. Like, your soft goals can be like, as you
Short
described,
term goals.
happiness. No, you said
Okay.
happiness. Happiness is something in the background. See, happiness cannot be quantified. Okay, it's so fluid. You never know, is it the happiness that I'm looking for, or is it the mental peace that I'm looking for? Is it the joy? Is it the pleasure? Happiness is like very debatable and subjective topic. Okay, hence it's very
Different to everyone.
different to everyone. Exactly, the perception perspective will be different. But what we have to do is we have to understand all the kind of happiness, the joy, pleasure is something different, I would say. It all comes automatically once we are confidently achieving few things. We are able to drive few things as per our wish. Happiness flows automatically. You get that. So happiness cannot be the target as such. So the goals cannot define themselves as that, my happiness level has to be level 10 or level 9. So we
Right.
automatically get happiness out of what we are doing, how we are growing, what we are
Mhm.
achieving, from one level to the other level, when we start getting appreciation. So in this particular time, I would say that, goal is definitely a process, no doubt about it. And we try to achieve some end result, some outcome. But what we turn into in that entire process is like our growth, which gives happiness. So, what we should look at is goals are ours. We are a goalkeeper. We have to safeguard them. And by setting the goals, we will have a roadmap in place. So that roadmap should be there, where we are heading to. What is it that we want? Okay, so at least drive your life 60% according to the goal. Rest of the life gets taken care of, I would say. I wouldn't say like, 100% you are always, running a marathon in the house or in your life. No, but at least try to understand you have 60% of your life driven by the goal, 40% it will be taken care of. It will be taken care of. You will feel happy. So that's what I have to talk about.
Okay, so during this pandemic, people are taking off a break. They are considering it to be a retreat sort of a thing. They are leaning more towards spirituality. They are doing meditation, trying to know what they want from their inner self. And they say that it clears up your picture as to what your long term goal should be. Also, you mentioned that happiness is supposed to be, you can have it as a soft goal, but it is said that the goal is supposed to be like smart, that is measurable, something that you can have specific and time bound. So do you think like having that sort of a goal, happiness as a goal, can be considered as a smart goal? And also, do you think being a spiritual person plays an important role, like it changes the type of goals that you have? For example, a spiritual person will be tending more towards happiness rather than going for a goal such as money. He'll be looking for happiness because end term of all the goals is happiness, because we are running after happiness. We want money, we want job, but all of this is coming back to happiness. So what is your say on that?
Good. Lot of questions asked in one go. Okay, let me try to answer one by one. Coming to the spirituality part, because that's what most of the people went into. See, there are a lot of modalities and the coping mechanism that we try to hold on to in such situations. Okay, spirituality being one of them, which is in all kinds of crisis. The first thing that we do is we are bound to look upon our strong believers whom we believe a lot, and we do prayers. So we do that. Spirituality is again a very subjective thing, person to person. As long as you have surrendered and you have 100% faith, it works miracles. Okay, so there again, people say it's not working. Okay, so there is this destiny and a path that has been decided, and if you're on to it, you have to believe it, and miracles do happen. For the internal peace and happiness, I would say it's not about associating spirituality to an end result or an end goal. Spirituality has to be way above all these things. So when we say we are a spiritual person, we might use many terminologies to describe our internal peace. We could say we are joyful, we are satisfied, we are having harmony with our own self, we are peaceful, we do not have aspirations on the worldly or materialistic things, that's what happens.
Misconceptions.
Yeah. Having said that, see, understand we are social animals, right? We are
Mhm.
in our families. We are in an ecosystem which surrounds us. We cannot pull ourselves out of all these things and start living our own life. It's not possible. Okay. So we have to go along with everyone around us. Okay. So spirituality should bring in happiness holistically, in a manner where you are happy, you make others also happy around yourself. Understand that. So when in such a crisis situation, you are able to achieve that level of complete calmness within yourself, it should be to that extent that you are also able to calm down people around yourself, make them also happy, and then it works, right? Crisis, when you're trying to do something, you work it out for other people. You, even if you feel happy, people around you are unhappy, they are part of your family, you would definitely want to do for them. So your goals, why I'm bringing in everything into picture, when you talk about goals, they are very interdependent. They are very interdependent. Remember this: your financial goals, your spiritual goals, your family goals, professional goals, social goals. All five goals are very interdependent. So, what will happen is that if you are pursuing your financial goals and if you are pursuing your spiritual goals, for example, okay, but if you are not concentrating on your personal goals like family and other stuff, you alone cannot survive with that kind of a satisfaction, because you will be stressed and unhappy from the perspective of the personal goals or the family goals. So when we talk about the goal, there's this goal of life, there's a wheel that we describe, we have everything together, and we try to balance that goal of life by working towards all the areas together. And that's when we say that, okay, we are able to move ahead, we are able to progress in life. Sorry. So always look at goals as being interdependent. For sure, if you yourself understand this, assuming you have a target of maybe clearing an IS exam, okay, now clearing that would definitely mean sacrificing lot of things to achieve that goal. Okay, so when you do that, something falls out of the boundary and something falls in. You achieve something, but you drop something. You have to decide how much you want to sacrifice on the basis of what you have decided as your target, because it's interdependent. So you are maybe progressing very good. So people might say, oh, you're doing so good, flourishing so well in your business. But when we talk about the family, we look into the family, you have not been able to give any time to the family. And so how long do you want to do that is your individual decision. So that's how we evaluate, I hope I've answered your question.
Okay, and what about the part where we are saying that happiness is something that cannot be measured, but at the same time, we are putting it under the category of goals? So, is it a smart goal or not, according to you?
See, happiness is definitely not a smart goal, because when we say smart goals, like, what does smart say? That it has to be simple, measurable, achievable, and time bound, realistic. That's what smart would mean. How would you
Mhm.
ever measure your happiness? Again, you will start quantifying with, okay, if I am able to get a car, I will be happy. If I am able to get my family a house, they will be happy. So it, that happiness, if you start measuring, imagine happiness being measured, this happiness is a never ending journey. Then you will never ever be able to reach to a destination. Happiness comes all within. See, if you are having a life where you're satisfied with your own excellence and not comparing it with the outside materialistic thing, you will start being happy without anything. But if your happiness is like a smart thing, like you're measuring it, it's a
You're
time bound
dependent
thing.
on something.
It's dependent on something materialistic which is outside. It is then not your happiness. Your happiness is always dependent on something outside, and happiness is never got like that. Happiness cannot be dependent on something outside. It is happiness that comes from within, from inside. That's an internal peace and harmony, satisfaction that you have with yourself. Then you don't need goals for it. Getting it?
Okay. So we are talking about the mindset part along with this. Like people have a mindset, specific mindset catered to what type of goals do they have. So how have you trained your mindset over this pandemic? Like how has your thinking process changed according to the situation that we are facing right now?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. See, yeah, mind plays a lot of games with us. So it's definitely a situation of mindset. See, there are things that we have to understand. When a mind is, why it plays games is like it drives us towards easier things, towards things that give us pleasure. Okay, I would really define it like that. Our mindset is about always being in a pleasurable mode. Reason being, because our mind doesn't want us to go outside the comfort zone. Always and always. See, I'll give you an example how it happens. This year, no, okay, assuming not this year, last year, you would have decided on some goal in the beginning of the year. Typically, when we sit to decide on any goal, our mind says, we go back a year back and we think, what is it that I left and I couldn't achieve? And let me bring in that. So, year on year, what happens is sometimes we are repeating the same goals. Why? Because we don't want to challenge ourselves to take up something new as a resolution. Okay. We rarely challenge ourselves into moving into some kind of troubled waters. Okay. So if you don't stretch yourself, it's always an average performance that you're expecting from yourself. In order to do something great, from good to great, you need to really have those kind of goals. Now, mindset always works in that mediocrity level because you are conditioned like that. Always we run back into a very safe mode of not predicting or thinking of doing something where we cannot visualize our success. We might copy someone. Mindset has another way of working out. We might copy, we might see somebody else's success and we might convert it into our goal, not realizing that the person who's got the success has his own reasons. That cannot be our goal because we have to see our strengths, we have to see the environment in which we are. Will we be successful? And if we don't have success there, then we get disheartened. Then we realize that this was not meant for us. Okay, so we have to understand now that the mindset that we carried in the pandemic, what was it? Initial 2 months, people went into a real picnic mode, I would say. They thought it was, wow, a long time vacation that they
Break.
got. Yes. Now, people who are action oriented, they didn't even rest a single day. And why I'm saying is I'm talking more about myself as well. And I have people around with whom I have worked, and March 20th or 21st is when the lockdown was announced. And since I'm into trainings and all, the immediate thing that worked up in my mind was, how is it going to affect us? So for me it is like, oh, 1 month, enjoy. No, we are always action oriented. So the mind says that around you people are resting, you also go for rest, enjoy what's there, relax, everything is shut down. But that's when I took the decision of replanning the things, because that's how we have to do. You have to get trained, not do. Mind it, Dipti, there's one thing that I want to tell the viewers. You can't train yourself, your mind, when the situation happens. Then you are doing, if you have to survive, then you are experimenting, totally experimenting to survive any kind of adversity. But if you have to go in a precaution mode and not in a preventive mode, I would say your mindset should have developed before any crisis comes. So what all you learn, what all you get trained for, if you say that you have been listening to a lot of motivational talks, you have a lot of mentors and coaches in life, I would say that you are trained for any crisis. And if you didn't use those kind of lessons and learnings during this real case study time, is when there is a problem with your learnings. For sure, there is some problem somewhere. That when actual lifetime situation comes and you are not able to handle it,
Apply those things.
you need to apply what you have learned in this entire life is now. And people, I would say, really failed over here. Really failed. They forgot all their learnings, they forgot everything. People have also gone to the extent of changing their professions, thinking, oh, that works, this works, like total chaos. So mindset, I would say, is not like suddenly overnight you get up and your mind starts working. Mindset is has to be right. It's a gradual process. It will make you move from pleasure to pain, like you keep on enjoying, and when the time comes you have nothing in hand and it moves you into painful situation. So it is like you are training for some kind of a competition, so you keep on sweating and doing your best, and when the real time comes, that's when you do the actual
You
performance,
perform.
the highest performance that is needed. And you'll be able to fare really well. So
So
I think
throughout these talks, I could feel that you are very motivated and you have a brain that is well trained to handle these sort of situations. Like, I would say that my first reaction to the lockdown, most like majority of the people, was like, finally I can take a pause, I can take a break and think about situation, and then we can go on about it. Or maybe it's a sort of like a tiny picnic for us. So I want to know, who is that motivating factor in your life? Was it your father, or was it someone else who motivated you regarding this? So who would you say it is?
Dipti, 1 second. I think I'll have to switch on my charger. Can you give me a lot of people who motivate you in life? Okay. And so everything is fine as long as the situation around you is good. Your motivation will also work. Okay. But what happens when you're left alone? Does all that motivation work? Are you able to follow your people who motivate you or inspire you? Is the question. So then it's a question on you and the question on the people who have inspired. What kind of inspiration have they given to you? That are you able to sail through such times? Again, it is a question on your internal capability, how much strength you carry in the motivation. So every time I would say motivation alone never helps. What keeps you going is always and always your actions. If you are an action oriented person, that's actually an antidote to any kind of problem. You will be busy, you will be enjoying your life, you will be having results. See, I'll tell you, never have a life which is unplanned. Okay, so if you have 10 things planned, there is something or the other which will keep you busy. Now out of that, you plan to take a pause, which is right, but don't take a pause because you have nothing to do. You getting it? We plan our entertainment also, like someday I don't want to do, so I'll not do. That's fine. But having said that, doesn't mean that I don't have anything to do, hence I took a break. I have a lot of things on my plate, but I just take a day off, which is completely fine. And
Do you think, sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
do you
sure.
think it takes discipline to continue planning? Or is it basically you having that sort of like, I've read that more than motivation, it's discipline that somewhat helps in building those blocks. So would you say you are very disciplined when it comes to planning and action mode?
I'll use that terminology of uh, being selfish at times. Okay, let's come down to this fact. Many people will take this term as a very in a
Negative.
very different manner. Okay, but this is a very fact that at some point of your life, you have to keep some portion for yourself. Okay, if you don't do that, forever you are making yourself available to everyone. Even though you think you are doing work for yourself, it is actually overloaded by thoughts, expectations, hopes of others. Even if I ask you that, what is it that you have done for yourself and only yourself? For example, in my case, I would define it as a me time. Okay. So if you have that me time, you can be fully energetic, you can be fully motivated, a lot of action planning, happiness, and then you can take care of others also. So I would term it as either me time or that selfish time, where nothing comes into your mind apart from just you. Look at yourself. If you are able to stand strong, then it is fine. If you are not able to stand strong, is it worth making others happy and everything that you are doing? See, you have to be your own immunity builder. In the night, 12 o'clock, early morning, 3 o'clock, any adversity, any situation that you are left alone with is the time when you will think about yourself. What is it that you have done for yourself? So, sometimes when the crisis situations hit you in the odd hours, when no one is around, is when you will think about yourself. But what is it that I did for myself that I should be standing strong alone, not being dependent? Is this all happens when you keep on building your immunity in that me time. That me time is very important, and I call it being little selfish, where either you don't take phone calls, you don't talk to anyone. um, be close to nature, I would say, like maybe in the night, look up to the moon and just do a introspection, or sit on the balcony early morning, look at the sky. Make yourself that disciplined. So it is, I would say, forcing yourself for some time, and then gradually you'll get used to it. But discipline and time bound and all is okay, I would say. But try to, if you say, if you use these terminologies as being disciplined, time management, goal oriented, everything is fine. But your natural self is what? It should come from within you, that this is something that is making me happy. So if it's making you happy, satisfied, you will automatically keep on doing. Discipline automatically comes. So that why is clear, why has to be clear, that why is it that you want to be strong? Why is it that you look forward to something new? So as long as you're able to answer that, then discipline starts coming into picture. Then you start managing your time also very well. But you have to look within yourself. What is it that you want? It has to come from your passion, something of your own. If you I'll give a very small example, like maybe I'm getting lengthy on this answer, but I'll give a very small example. Everyone has something or the other. It's just underutilized, I would say, ignored or something. So in my case, if I say that, I don't let that thing ignore, for example, exercise. I'm very physical oriented person. Like, I would not leave my exercise any day. And even if I leave after a month, I don't need motivation for it. I just don't need motivation. So like that, people would have something like, oh, they love writing. For a month, they would leave, but then they would automatically come down to writing something. So these are the things which don't need discipline. They don't need motivation. So in my case, if I say I'm action oriented, automatically I have planned things in the manner which are suiting my profile, suiting my strengths. So I have, planned it like that.
So
Everyone should.
making it a routine, sort of a routine or a
Yes,
habit.
correct. And it happens when you are actually working on your strengths. If you work on your strengths, you will start working in that mode automatically because you will enjoy. Those are your strengths, your skills, your passions.
Okay, absolutely. I do agree with the introspection part because during this lockdown, many of us have started writing journals or meditating, which has led to this introspection. I would like to ask you three major lessons that you learned throughout your life or even during this pandemic from your father or from someone else, which helped you become the person that you have become now, like which helped you become this goal oriented, action oriented person who's ready to develop habits in it.
Okay, that reminds me, you had asked this earlier also. So, I will say that, uh, rather I've written the book also on this only, that, daughter's imperfection, and he made her quintessential. So I would say, yes, somewhere down the line, the foundation definitely has been laid by my father. And, he's taken such risky decisions in his own life. So, looking up to him as my idol has converted my life like that. At least some portion, definitely he has a hand on it. Sculpting my life like that. Uh, so, the point is, always and always, the person believed in himself. My father, he very strongly believed in himself, and he ensured that, he was not teaching us, but he was doing it in front of us. There is a difference. You don't Sometimes we don't
Theoretically, he
learn.
wasn't saying
No,
it. He
no,
was doing it practically in front of you.
it was always the action that we saw. It was always the result that we saw. It was always that saw him doing. So, it was not like prophecy kind of a thing. Okay, you should do this, that, and then you will be successful and all. So, this is one part. Second part is, always I saw him going in a very opposite direction from what the other people are doing. If 100 people are doing something, he'll be alone doing something else. So again, you get uniquely identified by doing that, though it's a risky and a very a path full of hardship, but then it will make you reach to a place where no one has reached. Okay, so that's what I learned, and that's what I applied in the pandemic also. I don't have to think about it. It happens that even in the pandemic, when people were resting, they had switched off their life for some time, is when I was like, working in the full energy kind of a mode. I never took a break. I did get response from a number of people that, why don't you relax? I was like already enjoying. I don't need to relax. So, this is what that need to be learned now, because we are still continuing with the same situation. And till the next 2021, things are still unpredictable, but we still cannot leave the life in the loose hands. I really want to tell everyone that, wherever you are, in whatever situation are, please work on your strengths. Your strengths will only help you catapult your growth wherever you are, moving from point A to point B. Only your strengths.
So thank you so much for that. I would lastly ask you one thing, that is basically how have you, like if you could give our viewers some sort of advice on how can they become action oriented, like three things or three habits that they can inculcate in their life so that they become action oriented or they can plan ahead of whatever is coming.
uh, See, we are living in a era of millennials, right? And what do we do at this in this moment of time normally is like, we don't believe in old school of thoughts, correct? So what we will do is we will set our own rules. We will believe in our own actions. We will believe in ourselves. I would say stay with that. I like that, I would prefer to sometimes go opposite to the old school of thoughts. Like, people say resolutions have to be set in the beginning of the year, or something that has to be done only in the morning. Plan should be. People have changed their lifestyle. If I compare to this pandemic situation, what it has taught us is be very adaptable, flexible, but don't be fragile. Being fragile is it has no space now. You have to be strong, self-reliant, a self-believer. So if you have these qualities, now that you realize that these are the things that are very important, being adaptable, flexible, and independent, then we hardly will follow the old school of thoughts because they were very rigid. So now this is one point that I want to tell everyone, that don't just follow what has been told. You can go ahead and have your own guidelines and rules for the life. No one is stopping you from deciding or doing something new. Just do it. Follow your heart and just follow it. So that is the reason I like this era or the time. It's perfect. So also the second point is apply all the lessons, all the learnings that you have learned till date. Whenever a crisis or a pandemic situation comes, at least don't let your mentors and coaches down. Really speaking, if you are a true learner, you should stay on your own grounds, that yes, you have learned and now you want to apply. So, like, if you learn something, you test it on different stages and then say, oh, this skill is perfect in me. I have learned, I can apply the skill anywhere now. So, do that. Second is like, you first, I said, don't really follow so much of old school of thought or what people are saying. Try to be independent, try to be adaptable, flexible. Second point that I have talked about now is that, the other thing that I'm going to talk about is prove yourself when the crisis comes. Show it to the world that whatever you have learned, you were really learning. It was not just that, for the motivation or inspiration or something that you learned. Okay. Third thing is, this is very important. When a crisis or a pandemic comes, you know, your entire building structure should not collapse. It should not go down to the zero level. A crack can be filled, like, if it's a 10-story building, 3 floors at the top collapse, you can rebuild the things. You're getting it? But
Having a
don't let
strong
the entire,
foundation.
yeah, don't let, if you totally collapse, your foundation is also gone. And why I'm bringing that analogy is people I saw changing their professions. For years, they have followed and learned, they got degrees in that, and they switched thinking something else will work for them. Now, this third point is very important. What was needed is the innovation in what they were doing. They had to find something innovative in that. Stay there, but you have to churn, look from all directions, bring in innovation and make it work. Now, what happens if you change the path? You are not so confident, you're not so learned, you're trying something new, and again you are in that turbulence. And then you become hopeless, helpless, system collapses. So I've seen people actually getting into that mood. So these are the 3 points, I would say, only and only these 3 points that had to be really taken care of. It was an alarming situation for everyone, but they had to realize that, remain action oriented, apply and reapply your lessons wherever, whatever you are. Think about bringing innovation in that, because those are your strengths. Why would you want to leave? So, for that matter, like, if people have switched, now they are coming back to the same mode. So what did you do these 6 months, 5 months? Is actually waste of time. Because finally, after even the pandemic and everything gets over, it is that same work that's going to help you, not this one. This is all temporary phase that's going on. I would say that, these are the 3 pillars rather that I would say for this entire pandemic that we came across.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking out time, especially knowing that you are always busy and having planned ahead of time. So I'm so happy. And I would say that I had learned great things from you, whether it's about introspection or whether it's about taking time for yourself or if it's about spiritual building. Thank you for sharing those amazing lessons your dad taught you, because I could feel that I could resonate with some of those. And thank you so much, lastly, for enriching our viewers' lives with those golden lessons, because I believe that right now is the game time. All of that practice that you have done, this is not a pause time, and this is not some time where you should relax. This is the time where you should act. And this year is not a buffer year, that's something that you will pass away. Try to use, anyways, to all the listeners that who have used or wasted the rest of the year, or I would say enjoyed the rest of the year, I would tell them that even now they have time. Rather than waiting for 2021, they can start from now, from right this instant. By listening to this podcast, they'll be able to manage and build up those actionable habits. So thank you so much for being here. It was absolute honor and delight talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dipti. Thanks a lot. Like, I fully enjoyed, and I hope that, I have given some pointers to the viewers. And lastly, like, I would really say, before any crisis that comes into life, always be prepared with at least 2 to 3 tools that will help you in coping with any kind of crisis, be it meditation, be it spiritual, or be your goals. You should have in your hand and not other people driving you. It's your life. I would say the steering should be in your hand. You should be able to navigate. And once you do that, you will be actually saving other people to get into that distress mode. So, it's a double win win for you and for people around you. So, we have to be like that. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
definitely will be the driver of our own life.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vicky. Thank you so much. Bye bye.